Commissioner, I'd like to ask you a question about trying to enhance the economy of Polk County. For instance, if I was going to try to attract a major business like a big warehouse company or a Yahoo or a Google or some big manufacturing company, it's been pointed out that there are some structural limitations in Polk County, and would you address those for me, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's important for us to always remember, come back to, that Polk County has been historically a timber and agricultural county. So that's been the basis for our existence in this county for a long, long time. And so we don't have a large industrial sector. The industrial sector that we once had was related deliberately with the wood products industry. So now timber harvest is all but gone here, other than some of the private landowners that are still doing their work. But as the sheriff and I were talking about earlier, there used to be 6 working mills in Polk County. Now there are none. So we don't have that sector anymore, and we haven't evolved far enough yet for a new industrial sector to replace that one. So we just haven't seen anything. But there are little startups in the wood products industry that are starting to see some opportunities to take spots in industrial properties that those mills have left behind. But the other problem we have across the county is we are limited on industrial or commercial property space for new business to come start in. So folks have asked about, well, why aren't you attracting a Google or a Facebook or a large or a Home Depot and some of those things? There's a number of elements that, first off, are very, very simple. We don't have large block industrial lands available to attract those companies to. Again, we're generally EFU, exclusive farm use land, or timberland. So that land use issues in Oregon limit us on some of those things. The other thing that's a major limiting factor, of course, is the infrastructure. So roads, bridges, power, water, and fiber. The ability for any of the large communications companies to look at us just isn't feasible because we just don't have the infrastructure in place to attract them here. But we do see more small business startups that are attracted to Polk County. And again, it's generally because of quality of life and services and features that our small cities offer that they really want to bring their business culture to. So the likelihood of us seeing large corporate businesses moving here this far away from, nearly 30 miles away from the I-5 corridor, are less likely. I spend time of my week, every week, working in economic development, and I'm very invested in that, and work with all of the major players in the state of Oregon in making sure that Polk County is constantly recognized as a place to come do business and live. And so our hand is in it, our voice is out there, and we're attractive to small business, but we had to compete with Prineville, for example, for Facebook. Prineville had water and power opportunities there, and options for dollars that brought fiber to them that put them on the map. They didn't have anything else except lush swamp.
Commissioner, Mr. Weiss, if I could touch on that. Another issue that I hear in the community now, and this is kind of a touchy subject, but is the whole issue of legalization of marijuana and that bringing business to the county. And the fact that, well, the state's going to tax that, and then the counties and the cities will receive money from that. Well, first of all, the legislature is currently in session and they're wrangling with that issue, and there's been no real rules established yet through OLCC. But the fact is that Oregon has decided that they will tax that very low so that it, in their belief, will be to keep the black market out of making money in Polk County, or the state of Oregon for that matter. And the tax that would be passed on to the local governments, city and county, is going to be very minimal, and most of that would be for prevention efforts. And my big concern, of course, is going to be the attraction of business into Polk County for recreational marijuana, it's going to put additional burdens on public safety, and we're not going to be receiving the tax revenue from that to be able to offset that. So while it's an economic issue, it's kind of a touchy one, but I thought I'd at least talk about that.
There are some that are arguing right now, I've heard this very argument, attached to the tourism element, that Oregon will be a major hotspot for marijuana tourism industry. And I can tell you, as a past employer in the manufacturing side, that's the last thing that I want to see, because it directly impacts my employees' capability of producing and being able to meet OSHA required testing and that sort of thing. So that's a problem, I think, for all of us beyond just the tax issue.